We're in New York and we have 3 watch collections battling off against each other, as well as getting to the heart of what makes this city so special. Shall we do it?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I am inside the YouTube, like I've somehow magically landed in an episode of Wrist Check Pod.
Here we are.
What is going on? How are you, boys?
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Please introduce yourselves. If you don't know Perri and Rashawn, you're about to find out, and you need to know these guys.
My name is Perri.
I'm Rashawn.
And we are the hosts of the Wrist Check podcast. You can find us on YouTube. We're also on Revolt TV. And co-founders of Super Niche.
Yeah. So New York-based guys, we connected so many years ago.
About 15 years?
Yeah. Connected over fashion first, and then watches followed. And I mean, we've been on a wild roller coaster.
It's been a crazy 4 years. Trying to catch up with you.
Hell no, man. You took us over years ago. But no, if you haven't got on board Wrist Check Pod and what's happening there, you just need to, because there's an energy coming off these guys. You can feel it, and the fits are wild. I'm like in this drab ass, like brown and gray. These guys are bringing a lot of heat.
Yeah. We try. When in doubt, wear Ralph.
Well,
Hashtag.
The funny thing is, because I just seen Perry's fit, and we don't really like talk about what we're gonna wear, but we just like decided to wear duck canvas and coordinate just randomly.
Yeah. I'm just so out of my depth right now, but I love that you come. Thank you so much for coming. We are here to talk about New York culture. It had to involve you guys. You're very much a part of what I feel is essential to this place. It couldn't happen anywhere else. So we're gonna get into that. But also, we got some curiosity. You got some curios on the table. We're gonna have a 3x3 watch collection sort of showdown.
Let's do it.
But before we do that, we're gonna start with a wrist check. Are we gonna do the wrist? We are all watch podcasters.
Yeah.
It's just like by pain of death.
Yeah.
What shall we reveal on our wrist today? What do you have? Who's starting? Rashawn, you go.
I'll kick it off. I'm wearing something very special, as all the timepieces are. I'm wearing the Bi-Compact Studio Underdog chronograph. Now, this one has some extra sauce because it was actually a practical joke. So legend has it, the eggplant dial was created as a April Fool's joke. Actually fooled me before I acquired it. I thought that the dial was actually made out of real eggplant skin. And I was like, and every second I was looking at it, I was like, look, it's changing. The patina, the skin is changing, until I looked after about a week or so, and I was like, yeah, you got tricked. So this was, Studio Underdog had partnered with Fratello watches, and they did 50 units. When I collect limited edition pieces, I like to make sure that my numbers are, my watches are numbered evenly. So this is actually number 14 of 50.
Okay. And did you tell me what you told me before about Rich, when you ran into Rich recently?
Yeah, so when we had interviewed Rich about a year or two ago, I had shared this on my wrist check, and he actually was stumped. And he was like, wait, I haven't even seen this watch in the flesh since I produced it. So I felt like I had like a leg up on this one, and I really, really enjoy it.
It's a great piece.
Yeah.
Perri, what you got?
I got a new watch. I got it for my birthday. I'm wearing a Vacheron 222. This is the reissue. I'm a big fan of integrated sports watches. Big fan of Vacheron, kind of a design guy. This was designed by Jörg Hasek. This was for the 222nd anniversary of the brand in, I think it was 1977, around that time. And I'm loving it. I haven't posted a picture of this yet, so this may be a world premiere. No one really knows I have this. So we'll see what you guys say in the comments.
Well, we are brothers by that model, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but I have the steel. Yeah.
Very
so
good.
that's why we're here. We are all addicted to watches, and it turns out we have the same appreciation. I tried the gold first, of course, and just thought this is unmatched. The balance and distribution of the weight on the watch is amazing. The steel to me brought in some extra tonalities. Like I liked that there was a bit of contrast, but I still think about that one, and I still post polls on my own channel, just like, did I choose right? Did I shoot right? Because I had one shot. A watch at that level is.
What I love about it too is the brush finishing.
Yes.
Just because it kind of dulls the gold a little bit, so it looks a little old. Yeah. It's not as flashy. I think most people who don't know what it is, they don't assume it's a real gold watch. So I kind of get to enjoy it. I wear it at home, so I really do wear it for myself.
Yeah. The comfort is insane. I'm wearing it. This looks like just a Desert Sky Underdog, but this is the Perpetuel edition from Dubai, and this is number 50 of 50. To be completely real with you, like I am an Australian. This thing has gotten out of hand. These Discovery Studios. We started in Melbourne. We did one in London. We find ourselves opening in Broome Street, Soho.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much, boys. And it's honestly, it's a great honor to have you guys a part of the very first content we're doing in New York. But I have to ask you, like, could you describe to me what is it about New York in particular that makes it so irresistible to people like me, to people that get here and want to connect with the scene?
I think it starts with the people, really. Being like a multicultural city, there's so many different perspectives. There's so many different experiences. I mean, even using like the pizza release watch, like that is something that resonates with the city. You can have fun here, and there's such a large collective community here. People from all different backgrounds collecting at different levels. That really, really engage with the hobby by way of culture, right? And it extends to the art world, it extends to experiences and food and wine, and watches just kind of give us another excuse to really commune together and connect. Yeah. And I feel like the city has always been about that.
Yeah, the culture has really been a running theme in like this melting pot of creativity. You see so many different voices, so many different cultures, people with different outlooks and perspectives. It almost like flips things on its head. So you go, I never thought about it this way. Someone can introduce an idea that really changes like the whole landscape of what we thought something was. And I think that's what New York City has been, since we all wanted to dream, to aspire to be here. I mean, I've grew up here, but for yourself wanting to come here, that makes the most sense.
Could you, last question about the specifics of Wrist Check Pod. Is there anything specifically about your appreciation from your cultural group that is different to the main cultural voice? Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't really think so. I think at the end of the day, it's really about community. And, coming out of COVID was really the catalyst for Wrist Check Pod. I had developed a routine. I was going to work, I was going home, was going to work, going home. I'm a father and a husband. And at the end of the day, I was kind of like, I need something that belongs to me. And that needed to involve community. And so the interesting thing that I think people might be surprised at, from day one, our audience was incredibly diverse, because aesthetically, like just looking at us, you could see that, okay, these guys are into fashion, they're into sneakers, they're into this. And those things categorically resonated with such a wide audience.
You're picking up a lot of different people.
You're picking up a lot of different people. I think mainly it's about how much younger collectors are skewing. And so, many of our friends and colleagues are guys in their 30s and 40s who are collecting watches. And, maybe 20 years ago, it was much older. Guys in their 50s and their 60s and such. And so I think if anything, it's kind of created these spaces where people from different backgrounds, and whether it's financial backgrounds or ethnic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, can connect. There's no politics. There's none of that. We are gathering with one another, talking about watches, art, design, cars, and
so
we're having a good time.
So it's more about that multi-category, because I guess my question was, does it split down ethnic lines at all? And I think the answer is no. It's much bigger.
I think it makes the culture that much richer. And then you have people who might never find themselves in rooms with one another now finding themselves in rooms with one another because of timepieces.
But what you guys did was bring those other categories into the conversation
and
embody them as well, and bring the watch out of a vacuum into a bigger context of fit, of the whole consideration of identity, right? Like what are your kicks? What are you wearing?
Yeah,
Whereas
people
a lot
wanna
of the
look
watch
good.
conversation before that, and when I came into it in the early 2010s, it was so hyper focused on the watch, the Reddits, the forums, it was just this is all you saw. Whereas I think there's been this slow drawing out to see, but you guys have been a big force in
100%.
creating that contextual appreciation and taking it also away from just the sheer, what brand is it, how much was it, how rare is it,
Yeah. But this is a very
You've been a force for good.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's a very Ralph Lauren mindset. We both worked for Ralph Lauren. I grew up in the Bronx. Ralph Lauren as a man means the world to me. And when you look at Ralph Lauren and his history and his approach to fashion, when he feels like an equestrian, he dresses like one. When he feels like a cowboy, he dresses like one. And so what you're wearing, how you dress yourself, for us is emblematic of how we feel that day. And watches are part of that.
Yeah. So if you're doing a pitch now to people that don't know Wrist Check Pod, what are you bringing them in on? Come and check us out because we're going to bring this to your life that you don't already have.
You want to take it?
I think when it comes to Wrist Check Pod, we approach the hobby very earnestly. We like to give our honest opinion, but we do see the good in the products that we share. If we don't like a product, it'd be very hard for us to cover it. And for the ones that we do, we have true and genuine relationships with those brands.
Now tell me, what is a Time+Tide Discovery Studio going to do for New York? Like, what is it going to mean for New York to have an always-on place to discover so many of the up-and-coming brands in the metal? Like, what does that mean to you?
I think it means a cultural hub for New Yorkers who are invested in the hobby, but also interested in the hobby. I think from what I've seen that you guys have done so far, I think the diversity in product is really interesting, right? And some of the brands that you carry not only are accessible, but there's a trend right now within watches to make watches that are accessible, that deliver you high quality experiences.
Collectability, the same kicks.
100%. I always like to use Christopher Ward London as an example, and you talk about the Bel Canto. Like, where else are you gonna find a beautiful chiming watch at that price point, right? And to deliver an experience like that, which would typically cost you somewhere around $50,000 for under, we've got tariffs at play now, so maybe under 6K, I'm not sure what the price is unheard of. So to deliver that experience to an audience and have a place for them to spend and explore, I think is incredible.
If I could just sum it up in one whole phrase, I think dreams do come true. From where Time+Tide started to where you are today, to be able to build a retail space, from starting as a publication, you can really tell that with diligence, you'll get there. And then the funny thing is that there's still more work to be done. Yeah. So as you guys continue to grow and be successful, it's like the dreams just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think you guys inspire guys like us, to see what is the next level, what's the next step, where do we go from here?
If I can just ask you both, what are the changes you see for watch retail? What are the ideas? What are the things you'd like to see watch retail evolve into?
I think people that step into a watch retail space or like your traditional space, they yearn for community. And I think when it comes to the bigger retailers, the giants that we all know, sometimes that isn't at the forefront. It's about the dollars. And you do have passionate brand ambassadors, but their voices are very small in those spaces. And you have people that are extremely passionate about them and want to bring it outward, but you can kind of see them being shoved to the back or put, like throw them in the closet. Like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those moments, but now you're seeing with, spaces like yours getting ready to open, like these guys are gonna have to adjust. Maybe at this point, overhead is maybe too high for them to make a pivot, but there has to be a way to change what you can control. And I think it starts with the people representing your product.
I think one of the things I'd like to see is, so I was a director at a major watch retailer, I won't name them. And one of the things that we would do for our team, we would bring in brand reps and they would do these instructional classes on the heritage, the innovation and technology. And we always enjoyed that. And I would love to see more retailers create those experiences for their clients. To use these spaces as educational hubs as well. Because, if you're a client who's spending X amount of dollars, chances are you want to know why. And that's at any level, whether it's Patek Philippe or even a Christopher Ward London. Like, to get some insight into what the brand was thinking, why they, took this endeavor on, how they actually achieved creating these components or complications. I think people find that really interesting, and that's where the value is, especially with clients who are purchasing watches that may be more accessible. They're not necessarily concerned with the gray market. So where's the value coming in for them? And I think it's through education. I think there's a big opportunity there.
That's enough ideas for you retailers.
Yeah, but I do consult.
That's right.
Two great ideas, actually, and I sat there thinking, these both need to happen. Let's get to the watches.
Let's do it.
I feel like we got sort of a 3-card throwdown. Who wants to start? And tell me why. And the rationale here. Is it like a 3-watch collection? Each of our collections really bring
I'll start.
some diversity to the table.
So what I brought with me centers around community and friendship, which is the theme of Rich Check Pod. And I think the first piece I'll share here, it is a vintage Rolex OP.
Zach wouldn't let you tell me the story before the show.
No, yes.
He's like, stop talking.
It's a 34 millimeter, so it's on the smaller side. And we've been fortunate enough to develop friendships with many of the guests on our show. One being Eric Wynn, who's a dealer out in Palm Beach, specializes in vintage Rolex.
You need to follow Wynn
and
Vintage
such.
right now.
Yeah, they're amazing. And they found out that I was having my second child last year. And they called me and they said, hey, we have a gift for you. Where do we send it? And Eric knows I don't like gifts. I'm not the person but Eric insists on giving gifts. And they sent it, and it was this Rolex with my daughter's name inscribed on it.
Your voice is broke there.
Yeah, a little bit. It touches me. Because Charlie and Eric are amazing people, and this is what I love about the hobby. We've been fortunate enough to develop like some really great friendships. And so he had inscribed on the back, return to Mia Jordan Dash. That's my 1-year-old now. And so I tried this on, but I don't wear it. She'll wear this one day when it's appropriate. But thank you, Mr. Wind, one of my dear friends.
Man, that is touching.
Yeah, he's a good guy. You want to go next?
I feel like I'm like, oh, you know what? I just chuck mine away. I'm done. I got nothing that sentimental.
It's a bit hard to follow up with that, but I will share one of my funner watches.
Yeah.
This is my JLC Vantage Reverso. Now, the story and how I acquired this, some people may know more details than others, but initially this was a steal. So this was a watch that the son of the original owner, he wanted to part with the watch. He came to me and was like, hey, Rashawn, I want to sell this thing. And I was like, well, let me set the expectation. Let me reach out to a couple of friends. What do you want it for? And I think he understood how special this was, but didn't really know like the true value of it. And so he gave me a number that my jaw dropped to the floor. I was like, okay, you know what? Forget the friends. This is coming with me.
Yeah.
And I think
I didn't know if you meant it was steel or if it was a steal. It was, because it is both.
yes. It was definitely a twofer. But what I enjoy the most about this watch is the fact that it's more if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So with the Art Deco, indices or lettering, numbering, whatever it is, you have this red 8, right? And the red 8 is for, of course, when you flip it, you see Vantage Reverso. So the Aston Martin Vantage V8 engine. Shout out to my good friend Trevor of Perri Podcast, because he is actually the one that told me about the red 8. because I couldn't find any information on this watch. Like I was trying to search all over the place. I did reach out to Eric as well, and I was like, "Is this thing legit?" And he assured me that it was. And so I was like, "Okay, if there's any watch that I would share on this platform, it'd be one that I'm pretty sure not many are gonna see."
Yeah.
Unless it's on me.
All right. No, bravo. That's a sexy piece. And I can imagine that just looks fucking fire on your skin tone, right? Like the black, the red.
Yes.
When do you wear it?
Oh, I mean,
It's a daily for you now.
it is like a daily driver for me. I wear it very, very often.
Pun intended.
Daily driver, yes. I mean, I take this thing 0 to 100. I have been playing with the straps, so currently it's on Lizard, but I ordered this really cool, like almost matte finished ostrich that I'm excited to put it on. I think I want to try taking the plane off and just going classic pin buckle.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like give it a different feel. But for this watch, I've just been playing with it so much. It is really fun to wear.
And that took my breath away when we had a little sneak look first, just so I can calibrate how to play this game. And I did just go, oof. But Zach wouldn't let you tell that story. Now I know why. 'Cause I'm like, I actually don't want to even play this game anymore. So I'm bringing some to the table that will, I think, make your jaw hit the floor, but not for sentimental reasons. So my first watch inside a Time+Tide donut hard case, which is so fucking good for integrated steel bracelets or for watches like this.
Woo!
Yeah, so
That's a great one.
we got some high caliber gentlemen at the table and I need to bring some heat. So I've brought something that to me represents what my life has become. And when I see a brand that I know is going to ignite the imagination, the dream, the drive of people that come to Time+Tide, I'm looking at it in a whole different way. So this is the Famel Hut Möbius Bi-Axis Tourbillon. And this
is a GPSG winner.
This is a GPSG Audacity Prize winner, which I think even just as we see that sort of space station rotating in the top underneath this domed sapphire, you can see how this happened. Double retrograde hours and minutes. This does not represent what initially drew me into watches. Complications kind of frightened me a little bit, as in I live an active lifestyle. Like I'm going to bump that on something when I'm playing tennis or when my
This is the
8-year-old.
that escalated quickly watch.
This is the that escalated quickly, and also I think I'm so in it now for the people that are counting on me to bring them something to the studio. So we're going to be representing Famel Hut in New York. Yeah. So if you want an allocation of this watch, it's going to be through Time+Tide. So we've actually got to that point where they came up to me at me and the guys from Monochrome, Time+Tide Monochrome, run a beer and burgers party. I think we invited you guys actually this year or last year after Watches and Wonders. It's just our way to, after, like this is going to sound very first world, but after 5 or 6 days of champagne and fake smiles, you just want to put a beer in your face. And you just don't, and honestly, everyone's just like, oh, I can feel my face again. I'm not fake smiling and like, oh, really? Yes, that's amazing. So we have this party where everyone comes just to let it all out. And the Famel Hut guys came up to me and said, try this on. What do you think? And I was just like, whoa, well, this is my downtime. I don't want to, but then I was like, ooh. So where are we at with price on this? And they're like, well, the next most affordable Bi-Axis Tourbillon is a Jaeger for 153,000 US. And this is at that time, 20,000 US. Yeah. And that was a hook in me. As it happens, that price increased to 32.
Sure.
Now it's 42. But we're still like a quarter of the price of and in a way, the consistency with that and this is that this brought collectability to a dramatically lower price point.
Yes.
And this brings complications to a dramatically more accessible price point. So while it's definitely not an underdog, it is an underdog of high comps. So that is my first of the 3 watch collection.
This is one of the, I've only ever seen this in person one other time.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts holding it? Because the capsule case is very unusual, but it's actually very comfortable.
No, I fell in love with this watch. I love sort of these more avant-garde pieces. I'm a big fan of like Ottlands, for example. Like I love what they're doing. Super playful, and I think it's the next wave of watch design, right? There's something about this that is almost like couture in a fashion sense that I think will resonate with a lot of people. and it's a sick watch.
Totally illegible. Don't ask me the time if you see me wearing this watch. I'll have to check my phone.
Yeah,
Rashawn, what do you think? What are your first contact reactions?
I think, you know, to piggyback on Perry, like the word that he uses, like this Renaissance period, like, you know, the Renaissance. I think when you consider like the turn of the century in the early 2000s, when you seen Uwerk and Outlands and MB&F and all these guys kind of come in, you're seeing that in the 2020s. Like the level of enthusiasm and imagination, and then the new players coming in, it just still, same thing, flips everything on its head.
Sylvain Bergeron, Simon Brett, the main complications as well.
100%. And so I see this as the future, the true future. Although the giants are where they're gonna be, these guys are giving them a run for their money, because as you develop your tastes, right, you go and say, well, what am I truly getting for what I'm paying for? And you go ahead and say, well, this is the price point here, but I can get so much more for the price point here. You kind of make a pivot.
Yeah. And I feel that these kind of exciting disruptions, like you kind of disrupted what was perceived to be New York watch journalism. You had Hodinkee, and then you have Wrist Check Pod. You had Jaeger-LeCoultre doing a Bi-Axis Tourbillon in Switzerland. You have Famel Hut doing a Bi-Axis Tourbillon in China, proudly, with Taille. You know, this phenomenally filmic character. He looks like he stepped straight out of a kung fu movie, but he's this mysterious looking Eastern figure who doesn't speak English, and yet we managed to have a great conversation in Dubai. But yeah, it's an exciting piece. I think it's an exciting sign of not what's to come from the traditional watch industry, but just how disrupted and how much more change there could be ahead of us. We are 2 rounds down, gentlemen. Rashawn, it's your time to deal. What you got?
Yes. So I have a very special timepiece, one that is special for many reasons. And so this was the watch that my wife actually hated at first, and then became the watch that she absolutely loved and I couldn't part with. So this is the Rolex Cellini Danaos. It's very special.
Describe it, because it's a weird one.
So it has this kind of like cushion shape, but it's still kind of round.
What size is this? It's hard to tell.
It is pretty tough.
40, right?
It's like a 40, but it wears like smaller, 39, 38-ish, or 38 and a half. Full precious metal. So it's two-tone white gold with the rose gold bezel and indices. Definitely something that you don't...
Super slim.
Yes, very slim, mechanical wound. So what drew me to that watch the most was the fact that it still hand wound.
I've got a question for you, man.
Yes.
Your wife hates this watch, and yet her name's engraved on the back now. Something happened.
So I'll tell you what happened. This was the watch that I wore when I got married. And so I was deciding to part with it. I went and I sent it to our buddy, Eric Wynn. And when I told my wife about it, she blew a gasket. And she was like, there's no way you can get rid of this watch. So I told Eric while I was in transit, I said, don't list it, stop the presses. When you get this watch, we need to do something more than me just getting it back. So I told him I wanted to engrave Mr. and Mrs. Smith on the back with our wedding date. And so he did that for me, and for my birthday, I went down to Palm Beach to actually pick it up. But Mary didn't know this. So we went.
You went with her?
We went together. So
smooth criminal.
We went together to pick up this watch. So we went there to pick up the watch. She was like, why? She's like, why don't you just have him mail it back? I said, no, don't worry about it. Like, let's catch up with Eric anyway and Charlie. And so when we got there, Eric hands me the watch, and then I give it to Mary, and then I have her turn it over, and she started crying. And it was probably one of the proudest moments in my life, not only to, stand on my 10 and be a husband, but to also kind of like signify how far I've come in owning so many beautiful timepieces. So this is definitely one that has to stay in the collection.
Perri just nailed it. That is one of the greatest saves I've ever heard. And somehow, like, you engraving your own watch made your wife cry. Like, that's the cheapest way to make your wife cry.
Yes.
Let me just engrave my own Rolex.
But look, your name's on it.
Exactly. I'm going to say don't try that at home and expect the same result.
Please don't.
Yeah, but let me see this, because you engraved the wedding date as well. 2023, so you quite recently married.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I acquired the watch in 21.
Yeah.
We were doing really, really well, and I had just picked up a Rolex prior, so that's where my wife kind of went crazy. She was like, all right, if this is gonna be a habit, you need to stop. Because she's already like, you collect too much clothes, you collect too much shoes, you got books, you got swag, something's gotta go, something's gotta give.
This is such an unusual Cellini, by the way. Like, you need to track this down. I mean, the modern Cellinis that Emmanuel Get designed, they're a lot thicker. Yes. This is a really, really slim watch. Yeah. Very nice and great story. And God, you guys are bringing some heat, man. I knew it. Okay. Well, who's going to go next? Do you want to go?
Sure. Why not? My watch the second watch is not as thin.
Yeah.
But continues on the theme of gifts. And so this is a Jacob 5 time zone, one of the originals from 2002. And it's not a watch I wear often, but it is the watch that got me started with my sort of affinity for watches, especially complications. One of the my favorite complications are dual time zones, so world timers, GMTs, etc. And when I was a kid, a big fan of hip hop, this was sort of the go-to watch that all the stars wore. I mean, I think at that time they were bigger than Rolex. This thing is a little. There we go. And
let me see that on your wrist. Is this even?
It's huge.
What size is this watch?
I mean, it's like a 47 or something. It's crazy. But this was the watch that first got me interested in watches. And so I always wanted this watch. And Jacob, being from New York City, is a legend. I love his story. And I am a fan of the product that they make currently. I think he's made huge leaps and jumps in the watch industry and is producing some really, really incredible and artful pieces. But this piece was actually a gift from Jacob & Co. And so I had a cousin who worked in the entertainment industry and used to buy watches with Jacob. And so I had met Jacob when I was a kid. And since Rich Check Pod, we've been visiting Switzerland quite often. This was in Geneva maybe 2 years ago at I think it was Geneva Watch Days. Mm-hmm. And I went to a party that Jacob & Co. had. A friend of mine was working for them at the time. I hadn't seen Jacob in years. And I walk up to the party entrance, and Jacob comes behind me and puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "How are you? How have you been?" And I was just like, "You remember me?"
Yeah. So how did you come to know him enough for him to gift you?
I just kept seeing him at events, and he would always ask me how I was doing. And we filmed with him a couple of times, and some projects we're working on that hasn't been released yet. And so he always kind of refers to me as like his New York guy. And so they lent me a piece to take to Miami like a year ago. And then I was hanging out with them in the shop and we were talking, and they had something to show me, and they showed me this.
Because this is a cultural piece.
It is. And the funny thing about this, this is a pretty divisive piece in the watch community. You either love it and get it, or you absolutely hate it. For me, this represents many things. And I think that there's something interesting about it. So I used to sell art professionally. I collect art. And I have a theory on why this resonates with people, even if they don't articulate it. And when I look at a Jacob 5 time zone, the original ones, I see a Piet Mondrian, who was a Dutch painter, abstract artist. I'm big on abstract art. And I think the primary colors coupled with the shapes, it just reminds me of a Mondrian. And I think that is an aesthetic or a language visually that most people recognize, even if they don't know who's responsible for it. And so when they saw this watch, people immediately understood it, and that's why it was a hit. I think there's power in referencing when you're designing product. And I'm curious to actually learn more about the story, about the design of this watch and how it came to be, because I do think there's a little bit more here.
I'll tell you what's here. There's some wild freaking diversity on this table. I'm about to bring it back a notch.
Bring it back.
I'm bringing it back into what I would think is more the everyday watch collector's world. Where is it gone? I'm actually legitimately not sure where it is. Hopefully that's it. No, it's not. I'm gonna have to go into my bag and get it. And I hope it's, oh no, maybe it's in here. It's in here. So all good. Okay, so this is my latest new watch alert.
Woo!
Yay!
That's a heater.
That's a good one.
I love that watch.
And I hear it's kind of hard to spot in America.
It is.
It is. You know, I know a couple of people that own it, but I haven't seen it in the wild too often. But this is very popular right now. And Tudor is one of my favorite brands.
Yeah.
This is an incredible piece.
So this is an FXD GMT Zulu time. And ever since Tudor decided to come in with us in London, because we have their first ever out of retail, like permanent exhibition / retail space, and it's called the Tudor Library and Lounge in London.
Cool.
So we immerse the watches in vintage pieces, in literature. Like a lot of the Tudor literature is really expensive and hard to find. So we've got some books that are thousands of pounds worth just placed amongst the watches, so you can learn more about, for example, you know, the origin of the snowflake hand is from the Marine Nationale, because they found the hands on the first Tudor dive watches just too hard to read. So this is like 27% more legible underwater, and all of these myths and facts and stories about the brand just help people help people go deeper with their appreciation.
Right.
And it's messed me up. Because once again, I create this wonderland for watch lovers, this wonderland for Tudor appreciators who want to go deeper. And of course, I'm one of them. In a slow moment in a discovery studio, sit down on a couch, I'm like, I got to start flicking through this book. And I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm getting drunk.
It's an incredible brand that deserves way more respect than they get, but I'm happy that they, over the last maybe decade, they've been getting a lot of respect from the watch
They
community.
get their flowers for simple reasons. And this is, I think to me, Tudor represent a sort of an ethos that I appreciate, which is keeping it real with pricing. And just every year when we see the new releases and get the pricing, it's just an incremental increase for more things. There's a lot of significance to this watch in terms of it being master chronometer certified, and of course it's a spec monster, it's a strap monster. But I just want to say one funny thing. My daughter's like, obviously you were going to get this watch,
sure,
because I've had this for a few months, and she picks up that this color scheme to me is just so perfect.
It's great.
But I'm gravitating to it everywhere. You please.
That's awesome.
And don't you like? Let's fit this into a fashion and sort of fit context, because I find that the tonality of this, like that sort of
that's great.
off-white, it's just, this is
military,
looking so good with what you're
it's
wearing.
utilitarian.
It's looking good with the wax. Look, with the barber, anything. It's just.
It's like an ultimate sports watch.
That's what I was gonna throw in there too. When it comes to Tudor watches, they've been able to offer products that you go, when, you know, especially when they release in Watches and Wonders, you go, who actually asked for that? And then when you get to see it in the wild, or people get to experience it, you go, oh, I'm so glad they made it. You know, you can use the Black Bay 68, for example. Thing is huge.
That was missing, but it's enormous, isn't it?
It's a big watch, and then they went even bigger with the with the Pelagos Ultra, just in terms of like the depths, and then
Put it on the wrist, man. I want to see that.
Yeah, I have a FXD.
I want to see this with you too.
This is a great piece.
Yeah. So this is my new. Obviously, your latest child is your most is the one that you still
Sure,
kind of
yeah.
graduated with. But equally, I got to say that I think even I was just saying to Marcus and Zach before, I'm like, this is such a no-brainer. But I resisted and resisted and resisted, because I thought now that I'm retailing them, it feels kind of weird to be just smoking my own supply.
Yeah, well.
And getting super high. So I resisted, and then I'm just like, I just can't take it anymore. And anyway,
this is the one to have.
It's a heater. I mean, when they released this, I'm in a couple of watch chats with some clubs all across the country, and everybody was going crazy. Yeah. And we got a couple of guys, big collectors, who went out immediately and bought this. Shout out to our friend Cyrus, who picked this up, and then he just picked up the new Ranger with the sort of off-white
June
dial.
white. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. This is.
I want to give a shout out to my guys in Miami and my friend Akbar. So this was gifted to me in December of 2024-5, because we're in 26, around the time of Art Basel. And my guys Lex, Cyrus, CJ, Juan, they have a club in Miami called the Miami Watch Club. Our friend Akbar has his own watch brand. He's based in DC called Lesablier. And this is the Travelgraph watch that they did in collaboration with them. And, Wrist Check Pod has created and brought together a community of watch collectors all around the nation, in some places internationally. These guys are fans of the show. They're now friends of ours. And they made me an honorary member and gifted me number 44 out of 50 of their collaborative piece that they did with their club. And it's a heater. It's got the South Beach colors. It's pretty sick. It's a world timer.
That's a good one to follow on from the Tudor, because they're the two colors of the Black Bay chronograph. There's the Miami and the Flamingo.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah. And I think, let me ask you a question that dovetails right with that message. I'll ask you this both individually. When you start getting into watches, and maybe you're watching this thinking, I've got one watch, I want more watches, I get it, I'm part of the hobby. But then you talk to someone a few years later, and they tend to say the same thing to me, which is it started out with watches, and then it became something else. What is that something else that's kept you guys in it? Please answer individually. Maybe they're different answers.
I mean, for me, honestly, it's the friendships. Like, to have a community of people that when you touch down in any city in the world, you can connect with someone immediately. Like, I have someone to hit them and say, hey, I'm in town, is fantastic. Whether I'm by myself or I'm even with my family, I can get recommendations. Sometimes people will pick you up and take you places. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to say tradition. Growing up, time was everything. From, my grandfather to my father, and the ritual of like putting on, your work watch, which was maybe a Timex, to then put it on your Rolex when you wanted to shine. And so for me, that tradition, that ritual, that heritage doesn't have to be something that, was old. It could be something that is just like drummed up and becomes like almost like a creature of habit. And so for me, I would definitely have to say kind of picking up on that and then enjoying it and learning more and actually sharing, right? And then you have a ritual and you have a tradition that you can bring with the friend and start a business.
Yeah. Get to that. So I've got two last questions, then we're done. And by the way, you can vote if you want to on which 3-watch collection you take out of these. You don't really have to, because I feel like this is sincerity. It actually feels a little wrong to have a winner, but still, vote for me. We're going to win this. Next, 2 questions left. How into watches are each of you right now?
I mean, I'm pretty in. I just got a 222. What was it? It's like The Sopranos with what did the guy used to say? Is every time I try to come out, they reel me back in. I mean, I'm here. It is what it is. I'm not going anywhere.
I have to say the same. All the way in. I do like that watches is kind of bringing back like that collector's gene that I've had, especially when I didn't have the money to afford these kind of pieces. Collecting was still in me. And so now that I can afford nicer things, it can inspire more watch purchases and even step into bigger categories. Yeah.
Awesome. Last question. Hope your wife doesn't watch this, by the way.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, okay.
Really?
We're just, honey, just look away for a moment.
Yes.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done to get a watch?
Oh, that's a great question. The craziest thing I've ever done to get a watch. Oh, okay, I got it. Wait outside online, Omega Moonswatch. I waited overnight with him. He was there with me. My wife was there. And we were there with a bunch of friends. Actually,
Stayed overnight?
we did in the Oculus at World Trade Center. And it was the first time I'd ever stayed overnight for anything. It's not something I do, but there was something about the sort of the eve of the release of the Omega Moon swatch. You could feel it. And I didn't know up until we actually got online that I was going to stay all night. I was like, whatever. And then we get there and we're like, more people start coming, and then more people we know. Like, so the phone's ringing. Are you online? Are you online? I'm going to meet up with you. Hold a space for me. And so we ended up having like a watch meet online for the Omega Moon swatch when it first released. Didn't get the watch.
Not online, in the line.
In the line.
Yes.
Didn't get the watch, but we had a great time.
I can say definitely in my early collecting, especially when we started filming Wrist Check Pod, I had a day job, and then to fund my my watch hobby, well, yes, my sickness, I would actually bounce at nightclubs at night for extra cash so I can put it to a watch fund.
That's pretty crazy.
That is committed.
Yeah. I was very sleep deprived, but I always made it on time because I had a new watch.
Well, look, gents, it's been emotional. It's been a journey. We have had collections. We've had, I feel like a blast of exactly what makes the New York scene so exciting. I can't wait to be a part of it. Thank you for watching. And yeah, please do tell us your, sentimental choices below. It's always good hearing. I mean, I feel like we could go all night with, bringing these kind of stories to the watches we have. It never ends, does it?
It never ends.
Yeah, and we're kidding ourselves if we think it will.
Yeah, I stopped trying to convince myself a while ago.
So shout out to Wrist Check Pod. Please follow and watch if you don't already. See you on the next one.
See you in the next one.